Hello, this is Tony Heller from RealClimateScience.com. There's lots of historical weather events which government agencies have attempted to erase. One of them was the remarkable year-long heat wave which began in September 1895. On September 21st, 1895, it was 105 degrees in Massachusetts and Vermont. Chicago was relatively cool and only got up to 96 degrees. It was 104 degrees for 9 days in Louisiana, 102 degrees for 8 days in Omaha, and 104 degrees for 6 days at Sioux City, Iowa. These maps show the progression of the heat wave over 4 days. Red dots are 90-degree temperatures, and purple dots are 100-degree temperatures. This is September 19, 1895, September 20, September 21st, September 22nd. On September 22nd, 1895, it was 100 degrees all the way up into Maine. Here's a report from September 24th, 1895. Phenomenal heat in America. English athletes unmanned. The English athletes were unable to compete in the record heat in New York. But it wouldn't have made much difference if they were back in England because it was almost as hot in London. This was Blackpool Beach on September 29, 1895. Here's a report from Scotland, September 30th, 1895. Hamilton Park steeplechase and hurdle race meeting. Remarkably warm as the weather has been during almost the whole of the Scottish circuit, it was reserved for Saturday to top the meteorological record. The heat in the Hamilton Park policies were hemmed in by the foliage. The air seemed to be stagnating, was oppressive. It was very hot on both sides of the Atlantic Ocean. And then the following January was the hottest month on record in Southeast Australia. New York Times, hottest of hot waves on record. How it struck sweltering New South Wales in January last. Talk about hot weather. One day last January, the mercury at Adelaide, Australia, marked 127 degrees in the shade. In New South Wales, cattle died by the thousands and birds dropped from the trees as if shot. Temperatures in New South Wales ranged from 98 degrees up to an incredible 122 degrees. Numerous locations were over 120 degrees. The heat wave brought much death and sickness to Southeast Australia. And the heat wasn't confined to Southeast Australia. It was also extremely hot in Queensland. Besides the extreme heat, there were bushfires raging as reported by the Sydney Morning Herald. And then when summer returned to the northern hemisphere, there was record heat there as well. People were dying in London from the heat, and in Spain the birds were dropping from the sky. The heat wave in New York City killed nearly 1,500 people during the summer of 1896. There were many prostrations and deaths in New York, Chicago, St. Louis, and elsewhere. The heat almost unprecedented. At the morgue in St. Louis, dead bodies were brought in so fast they could not be cared for. At one time there were 27 corpses there awaiting identification. Arizona experienced their all-time record heat wave during June of 1896, 7 consecutive days over 120 degrees Fahrenheit at Parker. This record has only been matched once since 1896, during 1905. You would think that government scientists would want to understand the record heat wave of 1895 through 1896, but instead they've just buried it. The red line in this graph shows the 5-year mean of daily maximum temperatures in the United States as recorded by the actual thermometers. But the purple line shows the temperatures which NOAA releases to the public. They massively cool the past and warm the present to create the appearance of a non-existent warming trend. The trend they're reporting is an illusion. It doesn't exist in the thermometer data. They cool past temperatures by about 1.5 degrees Fahrenheit and warm recent temperatures by about the same amount. That's about 3 degrees of data tampering. The Australian government also tampers with the data, but they do something even more heinous. They hide all the temperatures prior to 1910. There were a lot of very hot years in Australia prior to the year 1910. But they don't suit the political agenda, so the government simply made them disappear. Toto's been pulling back the curtain on this scam for the past 13 years. You can visit him, Carrier, and Caesar on the web at realclimatescience.com.